Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins at Pocono as a crew chief. And there's a new number 1 on my Cup Series power rankings this week. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Monday, folks. Talking Dale Earnhardt Jr., Connor Zilisch, Kyle Busch ruffling feathers like it's the good old days, plus power rankings coming up in the second half of this episode. But first, we have to thank our sponsor. You can get Ryan Blaney's 2025 Advanced Auto Parts Mustang in RC form thanks to Horizon Hobby and Losi. Losi's NASCAR race cars are legit hobby-grade quality, high performance, durable, which believe me, I've already put to the test. These cars are upgradable, repairable, they can be customized, parts, bodies, different tires. I've had so much fun taking my Losi RC cars out for a spin recently, and now you can too. Click the link down in the description to shop online or look for an authorized Horizon Hobby dealer near you. 25 plus locations in the country. Find your state. Hopefully there's a shop close to home. Thank you to Horizon Hobby for sponsoring the show and for sending me some awesome NASCAR Losi RC cars to tinker with. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wears a lot of hats. Obviously, he's a race car driver still. He's a team owner, defending Xfinity Series championship team owner. He's a broadcaster, owns a podcast and media company. I could go on and on and on. This past weekend at Pocono Raceway, he added the NASCAR crew chief hat to his closet. Dale Earnhardt Jr. stepped into the role of crew chief this weekend to work on the Junior Motorsports number 88 car, and he got the win with driver Connor Zilisch. According to reporter Seth Eggert, Dale Jr. is just the 9th person in NASCAR history to win a NASCAR race as a driver, owner, and crew chief. Look at these names, joining greats like Junior Johnson and Lee Petty, legends from an era long ago, Cotton Owens, Wendell Scott. That is a really cool accomplishment, and post-race Dale Jr. talked about the level of excitement being a crew chief versus just sitting by as an owner.
I love owning race cars, and I love racking up statistics and championships, but it does not have the competitive sort of skin in the game, if you will, that the specific day does. Like, you know, when you're in the car, it's on you to make sure you're doing everything right. When you're the crew chief, you're under a ton of pressure.
1 for 1. 1 start, 1 win as a crew chief. That's a pretty good clip for a warm body, as Kyle Busch would say. Yeah, not to get too far off topic, but Kyle Busch was asked earlier in the weekend by frontstretch.com about how challenging it is for a former driver, a current owner, to step into the crew chief role. And Kyle Busch responded, quote, "It's all publicity. He's just going to be a warm body sitting on top of the box. They have enough stuff from the shop and enough technology these days to have the crew chief still be involved. I could say I could do the same thing with one of my truck teams, but the guys at the shop would be the ones handling it." Now, tone is important, and Kyle was kind of laughing when he said this, and he did compliment Junior Motorsports for being one of the most successful organizations in all of NASCAR. But still, that classic Kyle Busch snark wasn't appreciated by everyone online, which led Kyle Busch to clarify his comments on X. "This has nothing to do with any animosity towards Dale Jr. I'm referencing how silly the suspensions for crew chiefs are these days with all the technology they have to stay in contact with their teams. I'd say the same thing if Jeff Gordon went on a Hendrick box as a crew chief." Kyle Busch is exactly right, and he was honestly right in his initial comments. It just maybe didn't need the classic Kyle Busch snark. Dale Earnhardt Jr. even admitted after the race that while he certainly had some input on, when to pit, some of their in-race strategy, he was communicating with young driver Connor Zilisch, offering advice ahead of restarts, Jr. still admitted that the team put together all the setups, put together the game plan before they even went to the racetrack.
I wasn't going to make a decision about an adjustment. I did have some influence on our strategy when we were going to pit, if we would flip a stage, but they already have a plan before they ever leave the shop on what adjustments they want, when they want them, why they would want them. And so all that stuff is almost like push button. When a driver says, "Hey, I'm loose off," all right, that's what we need. We're going to do this. We're ready for this. We plan for this. So
was Dale Earnhardt Jr. wheeling and dealing on the pit box like prime Chad Knaus? No, he wasn't. But it's also unfair to dismiss him as a publicity stunt, a warm body. Again, I think Kyle Busch knew what he was doing there. Just a little banter, ribbing Junior Nation playfully. It is what it is. The story of Dale Earnhardt Jr. now winning as a driver, owner, and crew chief is a cool one. It's a very cool footnote that will be added to the NASCAR history books. But let's not let it distract us from the fact that Connor Zilisch, at 18 years old, just won his first NASCAR oval race, or triangle race, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, it's funny because my pit crew in Victory Lane said, you won on a triangle, you still haven't won on an oval yet, so...
It's an oval. Connor Zilisch handled himself very well. Saturday afternoon was tremendous on restarts. Winning at Pocono, a track that I don't think Connor had ever seen in a real race car before this weekend, is a tremendous accomplishment, a great sign for the Trackhouse development driver. Dale Earnhardt Jr. complimented Connor Zilisch's maturity.
Connor is, a young man going on 35. He's got tons of maturity. There's not a lot of things that I feel I can tell him that he's not already thinking. There's a lot of times when I was thinking some things in my mind, and he was talking about them on the radio. And so for him, he's just very present, very self-aware. He's going to be one of those drivers. It's going to be a ton of fun to work with as he goes forward in his career.
Y'all know I'm a big Connor Zilisch fan, one of the top young prospects this sport has seen in many years. I feel like the hype levels are nearing Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson territory. That could be an interesting video, ranking recent NASCAR prospects by hype. Like Kyle Larson, I know he went to Ganassi and Cup, kind of a B-tier organization, but there was a lot of hype there. Chase Elliott, obviously, son of Bill, replacing Jeff Gordon. Hype was through the roof. Ty Gibbs, I think there was some hype. You had big shoes to fill, replacing Kyle Busch, and very young. There was some hype for Byron. Guys like Bell and Jones, their first Cup seasons were with satellite teams. Remember, Jones was in a second Furniture Row racing car that we all forget about, or Christopher was with Levine Family Racing, right? One of their final seasons. Satellite teams that didn't get a lot of love, didn't have a ton of success. So yeah, I'm just sitting here off the top of my head. Where would Connor Zilisch rank among recent hyped up prospects? He's got to be near the top, right? Closer to the Elliots and Larsons than like the Justin Haleys or Riley Herbsts of the world. No disrespect. I'm just saying there's a difference there. Anyway, total tangent. Congratulations to Connor Zilisch winning on an oval in his rookie Xfinity Series season. Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets to celebrate as owner and crew chief. That's really cool. Looking ahead, Connor Zilisch will pull double duty this weekend at Atlanta. Friday night in the Xfinity Series race, Saturday night in the Cup Series race. Yes, I said Saturday. Saturday night race on TNT and HBO Max. Also the first race of the in-season tournament, which Connor Zilisch will not be a part of. I'll fill out my bracket later this week. Can't wait to share that with y'all. But now let's talk power rankings. Not hype power rankings. No, these are my weekly NASCAR Cup Series power rankings where I rank the top 10 best performing, fastest overall drivers and teams in the NASCAR Cup Series. Right now, learned a lot at Pocono, I believe. Let's see if your favorite driver cracked the top 10. I'm warning you right now, this list looks quite a bit different than it did last week. For one, I've got Ryan Preece in the 10 spot. RFK Racing has put all three of their drivers in the top 10 2 of the last 3 weeks. Ryan Preece has 4 top 10 finishes the past 6 weeks. The entire organization seems to be heating up. I like the momentum Ryan Preece has right now a ton. In the 9 spot, struggling to maintain momentum, is Ross Chastain. He does have that win recently in the Coca-Cola 600. That was obviously huge, but the past couple of weeks, he wasn't very competitive at Mexico City, wasn't competitive at Pocono. Ross is solidly holding on to the 8th spot in the regular season points, so I'm going to keep him in my top 10 for now, but momentum is dwindling. Atlanta this weekend is kind of a wild card, got some road courses on the horizon. Hopefully Ross Chastain can string together some good finishes. The higher up you finish in the top 10 in points at the end of the regular season, that's additional playoff points that help you at the end of the year. Ross at 9. At 8, First win of the year for Chase Briscoe. Welcome back to the power rankings. Great win for Chase, led the most laps, almost threw it away on pit road, leaving the box too soon, but made up for it by masterfully saving enough gas and holding track position in the final stretch. Some may say this win came out of nowhere. I don't agree. Sure, Briscoe hasn't shown the flashes this year of, say, a Hocevar or even maybe like a Ryan Preece. But then you look at the numbers, he has 6 top 5 finishes this year, 4 top 10s the past 6 weeks. They've been pretty solid. They finally put together a full race, got the win. He's in my top 10. Chase Briscoe at 8. You want to talk about consistency? I feel Chris Buescher's time may be coming soon. I've got Chris Buescher at 7. You look at his last 3 races, finishes of 2nd, 10th, and 4th. Earned 15 stage points at Pocono this Sunday. What did I say earlier about RFK racing heating up this summer? It was 2 summers ago. Chris Buescher went on a tear and won 3 races. I'm not expecting Chris Buescher to win 3 races this summer, but he has led laps in 3 consecutive races. I feel like this team is right on the cusp. Chris Buescher at 7. At 6, this one may be controversial. Give me Kyle Larson. Look, he has 3 top 10s the past 4 weeks. That's pretty good. Overcame a poor qualifying effort to finish 7th at Pocono, but the past few weeks, Kyle Larson has not had the firepower we saw previously. Since crashing in the Coca-Cola 600 nearly a month ago, Kyle Larson has led 0 laps. 0 laps led in 4 straight races. That's the first time that's happened all season. So he's still finishing good, but he's obviously not running as well as he was to start the year. This week I have Kyle Larson at 6. Top 5. Ryan Blaney finished 3rd at Pocono, which was pretty great considering they had to overcome an early pit road penalty. Good to get back on track. You know, he won at Nashville, dominated a few weeks back, but then had a couple kind of rocky races in a row. Now we look ahead to Atlanta. We know how good the Penske cars usually run at the drafting tracks. Great opportunity for Ryan Blaney this Saturday night. At 4, best he's been in a while, Chase Elliott. 6 straight top 15 finishes. Top 5 at Pocono, earned the 4th most stage points. He's won at Atlanta in the next gen car. The stage points are part of why I ranked Elliott ahead of Blaney this week, even though Blaney ran a little better than Elliott at Pocono, finished better than him at least. Elliott earned 8 more stage points, so gotta weigh that in here. Chase Elliott at 4. At 3, I have Christopher Bell. Pocono wasn't great, though he got caught up in a crash that wasn't his fault, had some splitter damage, still finished 17th. You look at the past 7 races, Bell has 5 top 10s the past 7 races, throw in that all-star race win for good measure. Top 3 in points, I still feel like Christopher Bell could pop and win any given week. He has no weaknesses. He's a good road racer, good at short tracks, good at intermediates, and he won at Atlanta back in February. So what do you want me to say? Christopher Bell at 3. We have a new number 1 this week, which means William Byron has dropped to the 2nd spot. And Byron still showed some good signs this weekend despite getting sideways in qualifying. He earned some stage points, but finished outside the top 20. Byron has not won a race since the Daytona 500. Been extremely consistent. You almost won Michigan a couple weeks ago, ran out of gas. A lot of top 5s, a lot of top 10s. He's up front, hovering, lurking every single week nearly, but he hasn't been able to break through and get into victory lane in quite some time. He's still the points leader, still a lot to be excited about for William Byron, but this week I have to drop him to number 2 because Denny Hamlin in the 1 spot has shown more flashes recently. Clearly, there wasn't any rust after missing the race in Mexico City. Denny Hamlin finished 2nd at Pocono after qualifying on the pole, leading the 2nd most laps and earning the 2nd most stage points. Not only has Denny been fast, but he's been consistent the past few weeks. His last 3 finishes, 3rd, 1st, 2nd. Doesn't get much better than that. Some road courses coming up, likely going to hurt Denny's ranking, but for now, heading into Atlanta, I have DH in the number 1 spot. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my top 10. A lot of drivers just outside of the top 10. My honorable mentions category could have been 5 or 6, 7 names long. Had to narrow it down to a top 10. This is what we settled on. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with these rankings. And leave a like on this video while you're down there. Subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. If you love all things NASCAR, we talk racing every single day. Really appreciate appreciate your very generous support as well. I will see you again real soon. If you missed my post-race Pocono breakdown, you can check that out on my channel. Uploaded it late last night. Hope you'll check it out. That's going to do it, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll talk with you again soon.